Good morning. This is part 2 of pre-algebra from Monday, March 23rd. Now, hopefully you've already done problem 1 as I asked. The receipts of the day totaled $5,200. This was only 3/5 of the money needed to pay the bills. How much money was needed to pay the bills? We're going to use our pattern that we've learned in algebra. Fractions times the of equals the is. So our fraction is 3/5. We do not know what the of is. That's our unknown. So we're going to put n equals 5,200. Now, how am I going to solve that? Well, this says to multiply 3/5 times a some number. So we're going to do the opposite. We're going to use our reciprocal. And we're going to get 5,200 over 1 times 5 over 3. Okay, so this is the way you're going to solve it. Hopefully you solved it already. And the answer was $8,666.67. Now, obviously when you divided this out, it did not come out even. It came out 666666666. Well, you can't give me 6/100ths of a penny. Okay, so you have to round it to the nearest penny. Since it's a 6, we're going to round up to a 7. That's where we got the 67 cents. Look at number 2. Number 2 says, Edsel traveled 350 miles from the factory to the River Rouge plant in 7 hours. The next day, he was in a hurry to return. If he must complete the trip back to the factory in 7 hours, what should his speed be? Now, wait a minute. The speed that Mrs. Turner drives from Chicago to City Baptist to make these recordings for you, does that influence how fast I drive home? No, it doesn't. They are not related. Unless I got a ticket, then it would be related. I would probably slow down, all right? But how fast I drive in the morning has nothing to do with how fast I drive in the afternoon. So we don't really care in this problem about what fact? About the fact that it took him 7 hours to drive to make the trip on one day, on his way there. Okay, all we care about is how long did it take him to go on the way home. Now, we know that he had to travel how many miles? He had to travel 350 miles. How long does he have to make that trip? He only has 5 hours for whatever. Maybe he has to get home to his daughter's piano recital. I don't know. Maybe he was trying to get to a City Baptist basketball game. Okay? But he has 5 hours and he has to be home. Now, I need to know how fast he needs to drive. Well, I need to know miles per hour. I'm going to take the number of miles, divide it by the amount of time he has. And when I do that, well, 5 goes into 350 7 times, and then he needs to go 70 miles per hour. Okay, that's how fast he needs to drive on the way home. Look at number 3. The ratio of believers to doubters at the meeting was 8-13. When I make a ratio, does it matter which one goes on the top, which one goes on the bottom? No, it only matters that I keep them the same for both sides of my proportion, okay? In this case, I'm going to put the believers on the top and the doubters on the bottom, okay? So if I'm going to do that, then I'm going to put 8, because there are 8 believers and there are 3 doubters, okay? Okay, let's continue our thought problem. If there were 2,400 of those in attendance were believers, where's my believers? My believers are on the top. So I'm going to put my 2,400 on the top. Question is, how many doubters are there? We don't know, so let's put an X. And now we need to solve it. How do you solve a proportion problem? You cross multiply. So 8 times X and 3 times 2,400. Okay, when you do that, you're going to have 8X equals 7,200. And how do I solve from there? I need to get rid of the 8, correct? So I'm going to divide this side by 8 because it says to multiply, and I'm going to divide. But if I do it on the left, I must do it on the right. These are going to cancel, giving us X equals 900. Okay? I hope this is helping. I hope you're doing well with your problems. On your homework, you do not have to draw the diagrams. Draw them if they help you. That's okay, but you don't have to. Tonight, your homework is going to be problem set 75, and I want you to do well, we've already done several at the beginning, so let's do numbers 6 through, let's go 6 through, I want you to do what we did today, so let's do 6 through 17 for tonight, okay? 6 through 17 is your homework, okay? And we'll go over those answers tomorrow. You'll take a picture of them, you'll send them back to me. So tonight for homework, okay, you're going to do problem set 75, 6 through 17, and take an online quiz.